Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a young boy named Xiao Ming. His family wasn't well off, and life was tough. They lived in an old brick house with cracks where the wind slipped through. Xiao Ming's father was a heavy drinker and didn't have steady work. Most nights, he would stumble home drunk, shouting at Xiao Ming's mother, complaining that her cooking was terrible and blaming her for everything wrong in their lives. Xiao Ming's older brother, a few years his senior, didn't have a great temperament either. Just like his father, he'd lash out at their mother whenever things didn't go his way. Xiao Ming felt helpless watching this, deeply saddened by his mother's struggles. Though he was still young, he understood how much she did for the family and saw the weariness in her face. Many nights, lying in bed, Xiao Ming would toss and turn, wondering how he could make things better for her, though he felt powerless to do anything. One evening, when his father came home drunk again, he raged at his mother, hurling insults and complaining about her cooking. He even threw the dishes off the table, shattering them on the floor. Xiao Ming's brother joined in, complaining about her efforts. Hiding in his room, Xiao Ming listened to the arguing in the living room, feeling sorrow and frustration fill his heart. He wished he could protect his mother, say something to defend her, but he knew it would only make things worse. Late that night, after she had cleaned up the mess, Xiao Ming's mother sat on the worn-out sofa, looking exhausted. Xiao Ming quietly approached her, wanting to offer some comfort but unsure of what to say. She turned to him with a gentle smile, despite her weary eyes, and softly said, "Xiao Ming, I don't ask for much. I don't need riches or luxury. All I want is for you to study hard, grow up well, find a stable job, and make a life for yourself. That would make me proud." Hearing these words, Xiao Ming felt both touched and heartbroken. He looked into his mother's eyes and nodded, silently making a promise to himself. One day, he would work hard, make her proud, and ensure she never had to face such hardship again. He understood that it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to do whatever it took to give her the life she deserved. From that night on, Xiao Ming became even more dedicated to his studies. He worked hard at school and helped around the house whenever he could. Although he was still young, he took on small responsibilities at home to ease his mother's burden. He knew that changing their situation wouldn't happen overnight, but he also realized that his efforts were the only way to give his mother the life she dreamed of. Her expectations became the driving force in his life. Whenever he felt exhausted or discouraged, he would think of her smile, and it gave him the strength to keep going. As time went by, Xiao Ming grew older, and his grades improved. Teachers praised his diligence, calling him a bright and hardworking student. Every time he achieved good results, he would rush to tell his mother, and her face would light up with pride. She would smile, patting his shoulder and encouraging him to keep up the good work. Xiao Ming knew her smile held her dreams for him, and he wanted to protect it, to never let it fade under the weight of hardship. Years passed, and eventually, Xiao Ming achieved his dream of getting into a top university. With his mother's hopes resting on his shoulders, he left home to pursue his education. As he boarded the bus, he looked back to see his mother standing by the roadside, waving at him with a gentle smile and eyes glistening with tears. She knew that this journey wouldn't be easy, that he might face struggles and disappointments. But she also believed in him and his resilience. Xiao Ming felt the same. He knew the path ahead was filled with challenges, yet the promise he had made to her would guide him forward. University life was exciting but demanding. Xiao Ming threw himself into his studies, balancing a heavy course load with extracurricular activities. Not long after, he also found a part-time job at a small restaurant near the campus. Although the work was exhausting and didn't pay much, Xiao Ming didn't complain. Each month, he saved part of his earnings and sent a portion back home to help ease his mother's financial burden. Every night in his dorm, Xiao Ming would recall his mother's words, "If you make something of yourself, that would be enough for me." Those words had taken root in his heart, providing him with unwavering motivation. Throughout his 4 years in college, he stayed focused and achieved top grades. Even during breaks, he didn't return home but sought internships and work experience, preparing himself for the challenges of the working world. Finally, Xiaoming's hard work and experience paid off, and he landed a job in a major city. At first, he put everything into his work, even when it meant late nights and sore muscles. He knew this was his chance to fulfill his promise. Years passed, and Xiaoming slowly climbed the ranks, eventually becoming a manager. His dedication and integrity earned him the respect of his colleagues and the trust of his superiors, bringing him both financial stability and a sense of accomplishment. As he settled into his new life, Xiaoming saved up enough money to finally realize a long-held dream, to bring his mother to live with him in the city. When he went back to tell her, she was both overjoyed and hesitant. Used to life in the countryside, she didn't want to feel like a burden. But Xiaoming gently persuaded her, saying, "Mom, it's been my wish for so long. Please, come see where I've grown, and let me take care of you." His mother finally agreed, touched by his sincerity. When they arrived in the city, Xiaoming set up a cozy place for her, complete with a few plants she could tend to in her spare time. Watching her son settle her in and care for her brought her immense happiness. She often stood by the window, taking in the city view, her heart filled with pride for the boy she had raised despite all the struggles. She thought back to the days of hardship and helplessness, but now, her son was her source of pride and joy. One day, Xiaoming took his mother to a company family event. When he introduced her to his colleagues, her face beamed with pride, her eyes sparkling with happiness. Whenever someone asked her about her son, she would smile and say, "This is my son. He's been so hard-working since he was little." Watching her, Xiaoming felt a rush of gratitude. He knew how difficult the journey had been, but he had kept his promise. His mother no longer had to bear life's burdens alone. Filled with love and gratitude for her unwavering support, he felt he could achieve anything. From that day forward, Xiaoming's life took on new purpose. He not only worked diligently but also started giving back to society, helping children from disadvantaged backgrounds. He hoped to share this warmth, this hope with others who, like him, needed a reason to believe in a better future. He knew the path of change was long and difficult, but with faith and determination, he believed that anyone could carve out a path toward the light.